Speaking of which, did you find the box, Copernicus? Figure out a way to open that box, Copernicus. Inside, you'll find out who you really are. Don't mess with him, kid. He's the final gatekeeper. Way too strong. You need to learn the spell first, before you can go up against him. Hey, if I knew it, I'd tell you. But let's start by getting you out of that box. Lucky for you, I've got my Farmer's Almanac here. Let's have a look. Hang on. C, cabbage, caraway, carrot, car trunk. First thing you should do is reach around for the latch. Sounds kind of obvious. Okay, next step. See if you can scare up the brake lights. Can you find them? It's a little gizmo with some wires. Okay. Yank on the wires and try to pull the lights into the trunk with you. Got 'em? What color are the lights? We need a green light, kid. A steady green light. That's the way forward. Gotta run now. Good luck to you, kid.
ما أدري شو تسوي بسيارتي، بس من خبرتي بهذا المكان راح تسح بعدين. انجلش. آسف، ما أدري هاي مو صدق، بس أنا أشعر به. كاني من ست. صدق حجة سعر. كل شيء هنا إلها دلالة رمزية، السترن، الجير ولا القرن على الدشبول. حاسة حتى لو أحد إيدي من السترن السيارة من كيف تمشي عدل. إيه معود على كيفك، أريد أوقف.
Έχω ακούσει ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να σταθείς ίσια. Έχω ακούσει ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να σταθείς ίσια. Και τούτα είναι ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να σταθείς ίσια. Έχω ακούσει ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να σταθείς ίσια. Μπορείτε να δείτε του ορίζοντα στο τέλος του δρόμου. Μπορείτε να δείτε του ορίζοντα στο τέλος του δρόμου. Έχω ακούσει ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να σταθείς ίσια. Язда на небе чвенlos, δεν μπορείς εκεί way back to you. Puedes ver el maíz στο τέλος του δρόμου. Μπορείτε να δείτε του ορίζοντα στο τέλος του δρόμου. Έχω ακούσει ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να σταθείς ίσια. Έχω ακούσει ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να σταθείς ίσια. Μπορείτε να δείτε του ορίζοντα στο τέλος του. Να δείτε του ορίζοντα στο τέλος του δρόμου. Έχω ακούσει ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να σταθείς ίσια. Έχω ακούσει ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να σταθείς ίσια. Μπορείτε να δείτε του οριζόντα στο τέλος του δρόμου. Μπορείτε να δείτε του οριζόντα στο τέλος του δρόμου. Sembletombe moi tu fais pour pas mieux d'obchobu. Να δείτε του οριζόντα στο τέλος του δρόμου. Έχω ακούσει ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να σταθείς ίσια. Έχω ακούσει ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός. C'est tout à što ciebie Fantoma mira jak droga do domu. Έχω ακούσει ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να σταθείς ίσια. Έχω ακούσει ότι ο ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να σταθείς ίσια. Μπορείτε να δείτε του οριζόντα στο τέλος του δρόμου. Μπορείτε να δείτε του οριζόντα στο clover του νόμου. Que yes over the glowing asphalt, and I try to find una statistis. Yes, then I need shades on you. Piacece tutaj I jadę gdzieś do ciebie. Ulica wygląda jak drogionu białych. Wymiary są bletowe nadzieja, popepa mnie do przodu. Use od ουρανός είναι τόσο χαμηλός, δεν μπορείς εκεί που να φύγεις. Sitting here, my gaze is drifting over the horizon.
English? No, sorry. I could, of course, back in the real world, but it doesn't seem to have come with me into this place. To me, this sounds like Arabic. I guess it depends on one's perspective. Anyway, as long as you're not going to start shouting at me again, it's an improvement. Kidnap you? I don't think my singing is that bad. How would I know? It's not even my car. No idea. I find myself behind the wheel here night after night. And the trunk, that's my dream too. You don't want to know how many hours I've spent in there, trying to shift my legs to keep them from falling asleep. What do you mean? Whose guard? Yours? Why should I know? What makes you think you can turn up out of thin air and interrogate me? Who are you anyway? Now I know you must be an English speaker. The only people in the world convinced that every story revolves around them. Who are you anyway? I'm not sure actually. But here, it's funny. On this highway, everybody calls me Al-Shatir. Copernicus, eh? Suddenly, this doesn't seem so arbitrary. Never heard of Ibn al-Shatir? A famous astronomer. I guess you don't learn about him in your schools. One of the forefathers of astronomy, in many ways a predecessor to... Yes, that's right. Copernicus, Al-Shatir. Two iconoclasts from different lands who challenged the belief that the sun revolves around the earth. Two dreamers who had the conviction that their unique consciousness is not the only thing in the center of the universe. Maybe you're not just part of my story, like I'm not part of yours. You were trapped in the trunk, where I've been many times. It's like you've wandered into my dream, and I've wandered into yours. It takes a leap of faith, I know, to admit that we both exist. Man with many eyes. No, I've run across many strange things recently, but not that. From wars, from bombings, from the cockroaches that crawl out as soon as the dust settles. On the news, you hear only about armies and religious madmen, but it's the gangsters that drove me away. They're the ones who did this to me. The El Mahdi army. They called themselves an army anyway. They were looking for my brother-in-law because he worked as a translator for the US military. Neighbors warned us we should move, and so we did, twice. Luckily, no. He was safe with the army beyond their reach. A few years passed and we forgot about the threat. Life had returned to normal, and that's when they came back and picked me up. 2 days later, when I woke up in a Baghdad hospital, I found out that they dumped me off there and told the hospital that I'd hurt myself in a work accident. Yes, after that, I couldn't stay. The women in my family, my mother, my sisters, they were the only ones who knew. I was very close to the women in my family. They were the ones who were around all the times while I was recovering. The men, my father, my brothers, always working, always out of the house. I got on a plane to Istanbul, where my cousin lived. He took me to Izmir, where the smugglers are. They're easy to find. I bought a space on a vessel, headed to Mytilene, Greece, the closest harbor in Europe. Just a simple raft, but not as overcrowded as in some of the stories you hear. I was lucky, at least in the beginning. We couldn't leave for 5 days. Too many Greek army ships in the sea. Every morning, getting up at 3:30 to make a go of it. By the 5th day, I was so tired of waiting that I wasn't even scared to get on board any longer. Finally, impatience had overtaken fear. We did not make it to Europe. A boat pulls up next to us. People are trying to understand what's going on, but the men on the ship only speak Greek. At first, people are worried that it's pirates. They take everything from the passengers. Sometimes take the passengers themselves. Sometimes just ram the boat and laugh as it sinks. But no, these are police, it turns out. They take us back to Turkey, where I'm waiting, and waiting, and waiting. Of course, I did not remember all this in my dreams at first. These were things I remembered from clues I found along the highway. I've dreamed this highway, this car before, many times. Always a long drive, always danger. Sometimes I'm smuggled in the trunk, sometimes I'm driving. Always checkpoints, inspections, betrayal, always from someone who pretends to be my friend. What is your dream about? A breakup? That's it? Ah, that's more like it. Who has been kidnapped? Who's this person that's been taken away from you? Do you have a photo? Who knows? Maybe I've seen her somewhere along this highway. I know her, the same woman, but with different hair color. I just saw her at the gas station a few miles back. An imposter, but she waits tables at Dante's, right? Betrayed by a friend. That's a familiar note to me. And yet, the waitresses at Dante's usually play it straight down the line. They can dish it out, but they only give you what you deserve. See, that was your first mistake. In this place, it's important to see things for what they really are. Keep them pinned down. The moment you start shifting things around to suit your needs, well, you're like Pandora, opening the box. She was standing with two men. It looked tense, like she was defensive about something, explaining herself. I don't think they fully believed her. One man was wearing an orange vest. He seemed to be in charge. Another shorter guy next to him. Mean looking, like a shrew. Sounds like getting in my dream, getting in the trunk, may have saved your neck. No, I didn't get a look. I just heard one strange thing they said. That they were looking for a guy with 8 fingers. They were going to find him. Something like that. 8 fingers. 8 digits maybe. Uh-huh. And you wouldn't happen to have a strange blue box with you, would you? That was the other thing they mentioned. They have the key, but don't want the box opened. No, I didn't get a look. Say, have you noticed how many tumbleweeds there are suddenly? I don't know, but the weather also seems to be turning suddenly. Turn on the radio and see if you can find a weather report. My God! Get that thing off the window! Get it off! Get it off! It seems to be changing the weather conditions.
Dr. Zest presents Interstate.
Sunny skies today, and we could hardly ask for better weather. A balmy 72 degrees with mild...
Suddenly, it's sunny. It's not working. They're stuck to the car. We need some other kind of weather to get clear of them.
Level 3 thunder. Level 3 thunderstorm. 60 mile per hour.
Looks like tornado conditions now. Look, the tornado. It's starting to pull the tumbleweeds off the car, but it's not strong enough.
Warning, tornado. Tornado warning. Tornado 60 feet from car. Tornado.
It worked. Oh, good riddance. Look, that was very strange, even for this place. I don't know. It seemed they were spying, searching for something. Did you notice? What do you know about these guys? The ones who are... after you. Oh, let's see. Balkan tours. Not directly, no. But I've heard about them. From a guy in... in Istanbul I met. He had made it through to Europe, but then had come back to get his family. But that's another story. He had come across these Balkan tours on his way back from Serbia. He warned everyone about them who would listen. Apparently, they had a charitable program to help refugees, promising to help them. But no one who accepted their help was ever seen from again. People just disappeared. And it wasn't just people in the refugee community either. Tourists too. There were strange stories. Did she mention anything about these Balkan tours to you? Yes, I guess merely the fact that you ever saw her again suggests otherwise. Still, it seems like a connection. Well, I hope she hasn't fallen into their hands now. Some of the stories circulating around refugee camps in Serbia at this time. I only heard bits and pieces. Nothing very clear. Mirrors. Rooms full of mirrors. People losing their minds and never coming back. Yes, people who were heading from Turkey into Croatia and Serbia were being warned about it. Watch out for mirrors. Rooms full of mirrors. Rooms full of ice.